Welcome to the Invisible Agent Podcast, the show for insurance agents ready to go from unknown to unstoppable, where visibility, strategy, and real-world execution meet. Hosted by Dave Cheatham and Mike Sorensen.
Hello and welcome to the Invisible Agent Podcast, where we teach you how to go from unknown to unstoppable by giving you all the strategies in the world to grow your business. Every single Monday, we come out with a brand new podcast to make sure you get this each week so you can take what we teach you in this Monday and implement it Tuesday through Sunday and start over again on Monday. And today's topic is probably going to be one of my favorites because it's something I see not a whole lot of agents doing in the industry, which is not a slight, it's just the honest truth. And it's going to be talking about how you should be looking at marketing and how, these three real pillars that we're going to kind of talk about and why they're so important, not only to the business, but it's also important to your reputation, how you're going to grow inside the business. And the first one is my honest to God, probably favorite, which is visibility. And Kate, you have an extreme amount of marketing background. So do you want to give us just a heightened view of what visibility means to an insurance agent, whether Medicare, life insurance, or whether you're selling steak knives door to door? Why does this matter?
For those of you listening or watching, my name's Kate Carroll. I am the Director of Marketing here at Family Financial Solutions Group. I've had the pleasure of being in the industry since 2015. I've got to work with a ton of amazing companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Clinique, Alex and Ani, to name a few. But my preference is to get to work with individual businesses, right? And getting the opportunity to come here, relocating from Rhode Island last year, all the way out to the Chicago suburbs, to be able to share my knowledge of the industry with agents like yourselves, agents that are listening, watching. Excited to be here and share those notes.
Hey, thanks, Kate, because your background is super important to why I think you're the perfect person to talk about these three pillars. And these three pillars are the reason why there are businesses out there, especially in the insurance space with all the kind of market shift, why they're actually surviving. And it's not because they're right. It's not necessarily because they're spending the most on marketing. It's not because they're maybe even writing the most clients. They've actually created these three pillars and have them dialed to a T where the functionality and the growth of their business is already been done because they've established these three pillars and they're unbreakable. So the first one, which I want to queue up real quick, is visibility. Again, my personal favorite. And Kate, I would love to give your take on the modern insurance agent or modern insurance business right now and why visibility in 2026 is the first pillar and, probably one of the most important ones in at least growing your business without you having to consistently be in the business every day.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. And happy to kind of clear the air on these pillars, because if you have a strong foundation in any business, it starts with your pillars that are going to hold the support of, the actual foundation that you've built up. And one of the first ones that I really like to cover is visibility. And most agents are invisible and they really don't even realize it. You're going to see a lot of people think, well, I've been in the industry for 15 years, or people know me. I already have clients. But I always like to push back and say, okay, all of that's great, but are they consistently seeing you? Because visibility is about staying top of mind. A huge mistake agents make is disappearing for 9 months out of the year and then suddenly showing back up, for example, during AP going, call me for Medicare. That's not branding, that's seasonal panic. And the agents dominating local markets are the ones creating consistent low pressure visibility.
And it doesn't have to be expensive either. Like visibility, because those 9-month hibernators essentially come out and then they go to every lead vendor, they go to every direct mail or some new age wave. And they're like, I want to do all these, I want to send out 5,000 mailers in my community. It's like, yeah, that's going to be significantly expensive in that time period when visibility really can just be done on time and free things, especially online. I mean, you can do a ton of stuff online for free,
100%.
but
Even start just post jumping in because you really just, kind of struck something. It doesn't have to be paid for. You can
Mhm.
post educational content consistently. You can go and attend local events,
Mhm.
um, sending out newsletters, posting client success story, leaning into the free resources that you already have access to increase that visibility are tools in your toolbox that are readily available to you. You just
Yeah.
have to have the intention, right? And that consistency behind it to act on it.
And the visibility, and like, I don't think there's a higher leverage move for, again, I don't care if you're selling steak knives door to door or you're selling insurance, like being able to be searched. And if someone typed your name into Google and they found websites, social media profiles that actually were built out, not pretty much plain Jane posted back in COVID, like just being searchable gives
Mhm.
already the next step of, well, we'll get into a pillar later on, another step of like being an entity that is at least face value credible because you were at least able to be found. They got to give you that. And
Right.
and the visibility aspect is honestly, I wouldn't say it saved my life. It did not save my life, but it drastically enhanced my life because I was in Arkansas 2 years ago, driving down. For some reason, it took me like in Arkansas to get to like Memphis, but I blew out my tire literally on the side of the road, and I was in, God knows, I don't know, I was about 80 miles outside of Memphis,
No,
and
no.
on the side of the road, it was like,
We've all been there before, though. You're not alone in that, right?
yeah, oh yeah, oh, everyone's been
You're
in
not in the
Arkansas with
middle
a
of
blown out
Arkansas.
tire in August, and
Oh.
yeah, no, it was like 100 degrees outside. It was horrible. Point of the whole story is like I sat there for 2 hours, but about an hour in, this, and I try to stress this because I don't want to offend anybody. An older woman, maybe on Medicare, maybe entering, maybe just looked great for her age. I don't know. Came up to my window. I was like, "Hey, do you need help?" And I was like, like I got a tow truck. It's going to be here in like 2 hours. And she said, "1 second." Went to her car, came back, got her phone, literally typed in tow trucks near me,
Mhm.
and called a tow truck that was closer than where I was because I just used the AAA thing on my like car insurance, like I don't
Right.
know, and had one to me in like half the time, just
Mhm.
because she looked up a tow truck company that, honestly, again, not an insurance agent, but was visible online, and they got to me way quicker than me sitting for another probably hour and 15 minutes waiting for the tow truck that I originally looked for. So again, just being searchable, that tow truck company could have been absolute garbage, but they got there quick. So just being searchable, being able to be visible, got that place the business. And for you, if you're not the best insurance agent, but you just have a presence online, there are probably people who are better than you. And that's okay. We all understand that. But just being able to be found is the first step to getting clients and honestly spreading your presence as well, because visibility is one thing, then it's taking it to the next step, which we'll get into here in a second. But that is my visibility story that, again, did not save my life, but it definitely enhanced my experience because it was hot. It was dark outside. I was in Arkansas. It was crazy. But that ultimately, that was just a perfect story of like the consumer is doing that.
Mhm.
I don't care what state you're in. As long as they have internet connection, that is what they're doing. Doesn't matter.
No, and I mean, and at its core, right, we as humans, we trust familiarity.
Mhm.
So even being, recognizable, from an online perspective repeatedly is going to help build that trust. Most prospects aren't necessarily going to remember your exact information, but they will remember that they kept seeing you everywhere. And
Yeah.
that really matters. You want people to say, I feel like I already know you.
Yeah.
That right there is marketing gold. When we can build and develop relationships from that sense of visibility and familiarity that you're creating, you can't duplicate that. You
Which
really can't.
high volume visibility, because you just are literally out there, morphs into pillar number two, which is credibility. Because if they can't stop seeing you, it's almost implied that you are a credible business and a probably an expert in your field. I see it all the time. I see YouTube ads, I see Facebook ads of like the same businesses literally all the time because I love watching YouTube, but I can't escape a social media platform without seeing the same people. Like I am a I I binge content of like Dan Martell and like Alex Shimozy like like crazy, but I can't go to Facebook. I can't go to LinkedIn. I can't go to TikTok. I can't go to any Instagram. Like they're always there and they're always top of brain. And that's where it's like you
You're an
start.
algorithm's dream.
What was that?
They said you're an algorithm's dream
Oh
when it
yeah, dude.
comes to social media.
I'm probably like 99% of their like algorithm, like all their like metrics are like, dude, we have one guy in Wisconsin that is just binging you like crazy right now. So that's me, but like
1%
I can't
listener.
escape it because I found them one time and I just kept seeing them. I was like, God, I got to look into these guys. And now I'm obsessed. Like that's how it started. But that is also how like agents, businesses,
Mhm.
businesses can be. Cause if they're providing education, they're providing value, they're maybe even if they're doing it really well, they're providing community for other people to connect as well.
100%.
That is where things come full circle. But like, that's not going to happen if you send out a mailer during AEP.
Yep.
That's not
But
going to
then
happen if you decide to use
visibility
seminars for 3 months, you know?
visibility is great, right? It's gonna
Mhm.
get their attention, but that credibility is gonna get you the appointment. Because
Yeah.
once someone hears your name, what's the first thing that they're gonna do? 9 times out of 10.
They're going to say who the hell you are.
They're gonna Google you.
Yeah. Yeah. Who
What's
wouldn't?
this guy about? Let me go see. And this is where a lot of agents accidentally are going to lose that business without realizing it.
Mhm.
Why? They have no reviews. They have an old Facebook profile picture. They have no website. They have an incomplete Google business profile, random inconsistent branding, or
Mm.
really one of the most detrimental things to any business is that they have no proof that they're active.
Okay.
Consumers today investigate before they engage,
Right.
especially in Medicare, because trust matters more in this space really than any other industry, in
Yeah.
my opinion. From
And
being able to work in different industries, this is key.
they don't want part-time Patty, they want full-time Frank. And
Mhm.
that's not like a man-woman thing. That is literally like, they just don't want to put their biggest healthcare decision,
Yep.
or like if you're doing life insurance, that's a huge decision. If you're doing like financial planning, another huge decision. They
Mhm.
don't want people who have inconsistent looking profiles because are they in the business? Are they not in the business? Are they doing this full time? Are they semi-retired? Like,
Mhm.
geez, I just was talking to a guy on LinkedIn. He's got a full out built out profile and he's semi-retired. It's like giving the whole opposite look. It's like what you want to do is make sure like what you're putting on these pages, or the credibility you're putting out there, the education you're putting out there, you want this to make it look like you are the expert in your field. And most, I say most, don't. Again, if you post content 3 times a week, you're probably in the top
Mhm.
1% of people in the industry just doing it. And when it comes to the content, it's like what kind of content you should post. That's a whole nother podcast. But
Oh, yeah. We
credibility,
we could talk content for
oh,
days.
visibility and credibility, that is not something like just because you got AHIP certified doesn't mean jack. Like, because the consumer doesn't, I mean, they care to us. You want to make sure you have the certifications. But when they're researching online, they don't care that you got AHIP certified. They want to see that you're a full-time present and that this big decision they have that they have to make isn't being done by someone who's, pardon my language, half-assing the job.
Mhm.
Or at least from a online standpoint, looks like they're half-assing the job.
I mean, it's at this point, it's one of, you know, the most serious decisions that they're making with their healthcare and ultimately financial decisions. So
Yeah,
that credibility, more importantly, is about reducing, uncertainty.
yeah,
You talked about it, Google reviews a little bit, earlier, but Google reviews are basically like the modern word of mouth at scale, right?
yeah.
10 years ago, someone's going to go over, maybe ask their neighbor, hey, do you know a Medicare agent? I'm getting close. I got to start doing some information. I got to take this seriously. Now they're pulling up their phone, opening up their computer, and they're typing in best Medicare agent near me.
Yeah. It's
That's
all
the game now.
and it's at their fingertips. It's at their
Yep.
fingertips. And it's not a hard piece of information to
Mhm.
really get at all. It's
No.
for most people, like you want to be in that, like at least from the Google review side, like you see the first 3 businesses that rank in your area. And if you're not in the top
Yeah.
3, like the significant amount of chances that you get picked go substantially far down if you're not in that top 3. So, and we can talk strategy about how to get in the top 3 all day long. But the whole point of this is like, don't get me started. Actually, I got to revert to another point before I even move on from this is like, if you have an at Gmail or at Yahoo or at Outlook, please It's not that much money a year to get a professional email, because I don't think you're going to your doctor and emailing your doctor and he has an at yahoo.com or, hotguy74 at yahoo.com. Your doctor is not emailing off that account. Get a professional email account, because credibility means a lot. And for me, if I'm working with any sort of business, like for myself, my financial planner, PNC guy, they all had credible entities because I know they're professional and they want to have that look. I love the look aspect. So,
Well,
but
credibility isn't just, online either. It's more than the Google search. It's
mhm,
how you speak. It's how you follow up, whether you're showing up prepared to your events.
mhm,
You know, is your branding polished, right? To
yeah,
your point, the email. Um, but really more importantly, is your communication, does it feel trustworthy?
yes,
People are constantly asking, does this person feel established?
yeah,
And we're not asking for perfect. We
no,
just want established.
yeah. And again, be you as well. Like, don't try to be something you're not. But like, we talked about the online credibility, but the offline credibility of, are you where seniors are looking to get information?
Mhm.
Because if you're not, they will find someone who is, in their eyes, more credible because they're at the places that they need the help the most. And depending on who your avatar is and what you're looking to do to help grow your business, like, you want to be where your avatar is. And that's probably a whole nother podcast that we can absolutely divulge into. But yeah, that's visibility, that's
Which
credibility.
episodes I feel are kind of naturally sprouting from this
Yeah, just
conversation.
tune in for the next like 5 weeks, because
We're
we
just
just got
generating all that excitement.
all day right now. You're just getting it first look in. Um, so visibility done at scale kind of turns into credibility, and credibility at scale will lead into this third pillar, which is relationships. Because the moments you find you have individuals reaching out to you because of the expertise you gave their clients, or they submit you at a fair, maybe you're at a networking event, because you are visible and you take your job seriously and do it well, that is going to give you positive PR to especially if you're working more of a community-based agent. Like, you will find pillars in the community that where seniors go to get their information, and they're reaching out to you. And the relationship aspect, this is not if done the script, if done correctly, this shouldn't be a transactional business. If you do, you will burn out. It's almost inevitable. Those short-term transactions do not last, unfortunately. And building relationships in the community that help, one, your presence, your reputation, and also like helping their clients, will make a lasting impact, not only on the community itself, on that person's business, but also on your business yourself, because
Mhm.
we can only do so much. And I don't think there is a single bad thing you can do by developing strong community relationships in your area with people who are like-minded and care about people just like you. I've yet to see an opportunity where that turns bad for you.
No,
The only thing you say is like, it's just long term. It's not
I was
like,
just, like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, this industry still runs on relationships. It always has, and it always will.
yeah.
Technology has, changed how people find the agents, but it did not change how trust is built. And I
Mhm,
think some agents have forgotten that, being obsessed with lead volume, that they forget the lifetime value of a relationship.
mhm,
The opportunity to have one, strong client that turns into referrals, spouses, friends, parents, community connections. Like, those are those long term rewards that sometimes get lost, because you have to have that intention to really build those lasting, concrete, tangible relationships with people.
mhm.
That only happens if people like working with you, right?
Exactly.
That's beyond your product knowledge. It's you. Relationship marketing isn't manipulation. It's consistency,
Mhm,
checking in outside of renewal season, remembering names, sending those birthday messages, following up, being involved locally, making people really feel remembered. People don't refer agents because the agents know Medicare. They refer agents because, there's that mindset of, I trust this person to take care of someone that I care about.
It's
That's different.
it's the way you make them feel too. Because we recently, I mean, it's a bunch story by. We had some agents of ours that openly have said that referrals, they don't get referrals, and referrals are not easy to get. Or I'm trying to the exact word tracks. Like referrals don't work in Medicare because people just care about the extra stuff. They don't care about the person, the agent that's helping them. And if you don't make someone feel comfortable, or you don't make someone feel like this is a relationship that is going to last, and that you are genuinely sitting on the same table,
Mhm.
the same side of the table as them, and you're trying to walk with them through this decision together instead of blasting orders out, telling them what they need to do because you're the expert and you let them know that, you will 100% win the battle,
Hey, Medicare
but
is
you will
it's
lose the war.
it's deeply personal,
Yeah,
right? So
you will
people
lose the war. Because you will not get referrals. Yeah, you may have gotten that piece of business because you know what, you were the only one there, or maybe like the plan you did recommend was good, but like they didn't feel great about it, and they will probably not refer you. Again, you won the battle, sure, got the sale, but
Right.
the bigger picture is that split off afterwards because hopefully you get referrals from 10 to 20% of your clients because the rest just ain't going to do it for you. That about 10 to 20% of your clients, that's where you get the most referrals for. So you can pick and choose who you want to build a relationship with because, this is just, I'm
Mhm,
going to try to find I'm trying to watch a baseball game as a batter and figure out what pitch is going to be the home run. And that's the one I'm going to swing at. Like,
mhm.
it doesn't work like that. You
No,
have to
I
see
mean,
all.
this isn't like selling a pair of shoes online. People want to feel safe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, relationship driven agents are always going to outlast those transactional agents in the
Mhm.
long run. When you're focusing on how fast can I close this person versus how do I become this family's trusted advisor for years? That set shift alone
Mhm.
is going to change everything.
And
Everything.
I think and when you ultimately make that decision, be like, all right, I'm going to go all in. Like, it's like being like this relationship advisor, like maybe do more in-depth work with a client. If that's going to be working more with the family, if that's going to be just more, you're going to do a better discovery process. Maybe you're going to have a better back end onboarding. You're going to reach out to your clients once a month.
I mean, those relationships aren't built during the sale. They're built in
No, no, no,
moments
no.
surrounding.
Right. But the thing that is going to be the thing that's going to hurt a lot of people, because it hurt me until I had one experience that changed it, is you will give a lot more than you will get in the beginning for a longer period than you expect. Like you sending out, I mean, I sent out like birthday cards to my clients every single year and I haven't got anything. Yeah, you got to do more. Like you got to do monthly touch points. You have to have some sort of service calendar set up to make sure they know that you're always there, you're always top of brain. But like you will do far more than you expect than you are expecting right now to get the results that you want. And you will get less than you think in the beginning. So it's a long-term play, but I mean, I was just talking to a guy on LinkedIn about literally almost the same exact topic. It was referral partners. So pretty much relationships for the most
Mhm,
part. And he asked like, when is your book big enough to do this? How many years in the business that should you do like to get into referral and like, referral or partnership building? And my answer is traditionally different. Like building relationships with your clients, like that is something that should happen every day and twice on Sundays you should do.
mhm,
Like that is not the question.
100%.
The referral partner aspect of the business, like the people you make relationships with and to get clients back,
Mhm,
that is something that is, I don't recommend every agent to do from day one because it's a long-term strategy. And a lot of agents don't have one or two marketing strategies right now that get them clients on a consistent basis. So they will try to hire outreach to do it, or they'll try to do it themselves and give up because of the long-term play. But it will bear the best, sweetest fruit if you give
mhm,
it the time to do so. Because ultimately, it can be the most consistent driver of clients, but it
mhm.
will take the longest time to develop.
No, I mean, relationship building in any aspect is about consistency. But in this specific setting, it's not necessarily about intensity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to become everyone's best friend. You just need to become present,
Mm-hmm.
right? That can look like those check-ins to your point, community events, educational updates, client appreciation. I love the utilization of kind of tweaking the standard testimonial and not just kind of throwing up these amazing words that people had to say, but using it to kind of repurpose and highlight and do like a client, spotlight, continuing to celebrate them, continuing to develop, those relationships. Those small touch points, again, are going to build familiarity. Familiarity builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust builds, long-term clients,
Yeah.
referrals. And, a hard truth is talking about referrals is, a lot of agents ask for referrals before they've actually even earned that emotional trust with people,
Yeah. And
Just because someone bought from you doesn't automatically mean that they're ready to stake their reputation on recommending you. Those
absolutely.
those referrals are gonna happen when people can confidently say, "I trust this person enough to send someone that I really love and respect and care to them."
Yeah.
That's, that higher level of trust that we want everyone to kinda be working towards. And in a noisy market, relationships become one of the biggest, like, game changers.
Yeah. It's
Anyone
easily,
can buy leads. Anyone can run Facebook ads. Anybody can copy like plug and play marketing tactics. But genuine trust,
yeah.
that takes time and that's real. And that's exactly why it's become so valuable in this
D-
space.
Dave talks about micro commitments,
Mhm,
which is like as agents, like there are things that we should have clients do to like show that they're committed to like working with you and X, Y, and Z. But
mhm,
on the reverse is like they're looking for micro commitments from you because if you say you're going to do X, Y, and Z and you do X, Y, and Z, trust builder. And if you do that over a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 year period, like I've got clients still to this day that like genuinely they still reach out to me for questions and I get back to them and they're just shocked that I get back to them in such time with the actual answer. And they're like, I, you didn't have to call me back today. Like I just left you a voicemail. It's like, yeah, got your voicemail though. Took care of
mhm.
it already. You're all set. And it's like, and you maybe listen, agents may be listening to this, be like, oh, duh, I can answer questions for my clients. It's like, yeah,
Right.
but when you do that over a 5 to 7 year period, every time, like that's airtight. Like they know you are the guy every single time, and that trust will never ever be broken. So your client will never leave. But also,
Mhm.
when they have their next friend, family member, cousin, brother, sister, uncle, they have no problem putting your name out in the ring because they know you'll do the exact same thing for them that they did for
Yep.
you.
You've
And
created a standard,
yeah,
right?
and that is a standard. Again, standards do adjust when you start to grow and stuff, but that's when you have to start hiring and do all the other fun stuff. But you're the one that holds the freaking line as far as how you treat your customers, both in the sale and post sale. But those micro commitments, that just shows like what you said in that room when you said, I'm going to be there for you for the rest of your life, blah, 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 wasn't
Mm,
just hot air. Like you committed to that standard. And
mhm.
if you commit to if you find what your standard is, if it's saying like, hey, when you call me, you have questions, you're going to have the carrier card, you're going to call them, not me. Like,
Yeah.
cool. That's expectation.
No,
That's,
talks cheap. Let's
yeah,
call a
yeah.
spade a spade. Um It you can't make empty promises, right? If you say you're going to do something, you need to honor,
Mhm.
and follow up because that is also going to be a part of that. Credibility, building trust, those long-lasting relationships. Um, making good on your promises. If you said you're going to follow up with information in X amount of time, that has to be your standard. That's what we're
Mhm.
doing. We're doing consistent follow up. We're following through on the promises that we're making to
Geez,
enhance.
are we teasing a fourth pillar that's a spoiler? Is that consistency?
So we could talk marketing pillars all day long.
Uh, that's
Consistency is key. Consistency is key in any piece of your, business, not just.
it's embedded in all 3 of those pillars. I think it's like the foundation at the base of it. The base of
Mhm,
the actual pillar is
mhm.
consistency because relationships aren't gonna grow, credibility isn't gonna sustain or grow, and your visibility is never gonna happen unless you consistently put it out there. Like that's the
Oh,
only way this works.
I mean, credibility is, It could be its own, just freestanding pillar,
Yeah.
because in, today's consumers investigate before they engage.
Mm.
Someone's going to call you, before they call you, excuse me, before they answer your ad, before they trust that someone's recommended you, no, they're going to research you.
Oh,
Whether agents like it or not, your digital footprint is now a part of your first impression.
yeah. And if you don't have one, there are still people in this space. If you're listening, you can make money not without being online. Will you make as much as you could? Absolutely not. Like
Mhm.
you will do far better if you have this ability just to have some sort of visibility, to have that credibility where you are the expert in your field, which will ultimately those two things will help and strengthen relationships in any community if done consistently. That is like your secret sauce. If you want business that doesn't stop and you would physically have to shut your doors, turn off your phones to essentially stop growing, those three things plus consistency will never hurt your business. It will only help you grow ever, as long as you continue
There's
to do so.
there's power even within that implied credibility. The beautiful part of that is gonna be that credibility compounds. Every
Mhm.
review strengthens your reputation. Every helpful post builds authority. Every professional interaction increases trust. Every happy client becomes proof. And, over time, your marketing starts working before you even speak to anyone, right?
Mhm.
That's a dream, right? Who doesn't want done for you marketing?
Of
And
course.
prospects are going to begin, coming into appointments already feeling like, okay, this person knows what they're doing, what they're talking about. And I feel comfortable and that I trust, more importantly, this person with this major decision that I'm making with my life.
Yeah.
Again, my healthcare, my finances, that changes the entire sales conversation because now you're not trying to convince strangers you're trustworthy from scratch. Your reputation has already, started doing some of that hard work for you.
Yeah. Which the whole like getting over that hurdle as far as the especially for me, I was 24 when I started selling Medicare. So I had to try to convince 65-year-olds
Mhm.
I'm a 24-year-old millennial that I'm going to stick with this for more than 6 months. I'm going to be there for the rest of their life, which will be another 20, 30 years on a 24-year-old who can't relate to the modern day senior. Like I needed to figure out how to be credible a lot quicker. And from day one, like I had to do a lot of like, it's hard to promise this right now because ultimately I don't know the future. But what I will tell you is I'll never leave you alone. Like if this business doesn't work out, if this XYZ doesn't work out, you will always have someone that you're going to go to, and I'll make sure I hand deliver you to somebody. So like again, was it the best sale? But I was 24. I didn't know how to do anything better myself. I pretty much had to sell them on like, hey, like I'm doing everything I can to make sure this works. You helping me and then also referring me only helps me better. So
Mhm.
when it comes to this whole like scope of how this is supposed to help your business, I would probably say where you can, because I want to give at least a few tips on how you can start. Because we just talked about visibility, talked about credibility, we talked about relationships, and we talked about being consistent.
Mhm.
And this whole podcast is now 35 minutes, and it's a whole whale to chew on, essentially. The first thing I would identify is who do you want to work with? What type of, and who's your customer avatar? Where are they getting their information? And what are their pain points? What keeps them up at night? Because then you can go to where they get credible information, whether that's Facebook, local places. You can then give them the information that keeps them up at night, which would give you the implied credibility. And when you work with seniors, treat them like you would treat your own mom and dad, because I guarantee you, your mom and dad would refer you a ton, and these people will do the same.
Mhm.
And then once you get so big and you want to get referral partners, that'll be again another podcast at a later date. But if you do that, if you figure out where your clients are to get the information, you figure out what the pain points are so you can create credible information for them to consume to get the credibility. You treat your customers with and the prospects with absolute respect and treat them like you would your own mom and dad. You will not fail. Almost cannot. Those would be if I was listening to this podcast, those would be the three things that I would get done yesterday to
Mhm.
start moving on visibility, credibility, relationships. And number four is don't Do it for a full year and don't stop when you get bored.
Consistency is key.
Every
We
day.
talked about consistency a bunch during this episode. Um, and that's going to come with marketing, your marketing efforts as well, asking yourself the question, can people, consistently see me? Do people trust you once they found you?
Mm,
Uh, and then lastly, do people feel connected to you? You know, are we taking the right steps forward to make, these relationships more concrete? You
right.
know, people don't we want to be able to have the opportunity to build lasting connections that, yes, maybe might turn into referrals, but it's more importantly about the effort that you're
Mhm.
putting into these marketing pillars
Mm,
is going to be the deciding factor on what you get out of it.
exactly. Well, I think that's probably the perfect point to end on, in my opinion. So if
Okay.
you are listening to this or you're watching, just know that we don't put any ads or any money into this channel. The sheer number of views and subscribers is purely based on word of mouth. So if you see this channel growing, which it has via views and via subscribers, it's because other people think it's valuable. If you think it's valuable, share it with a friend, a teammate, maybe not a rival. But we want to make sure that we give valuable information every single week. So you also, I believe, can reach out to us directly if you have any topics that you'd like for us to talk on, which we absolutely appreciate. Or you can find at least myself on LinkedIn. You LinkedIn and my name is Mike Sorensen on LinkedIn. You can find me on there and maybe shoot me a DM topic we'd love to talk about. But this whole podcast is to make sure we give information to you to teach you how to go from unknown to unstoppable. And hopefully today we took one step to doing so. So I want to thank Kate for joining us on this podcast today and taking the time out to do this. And I want to thank you for giving us the most valuable thing that you have, which is your time and attention. Hopefully we did great things with it. And thank you for joining us. And we will see you on the next week's podcast.
We do not do any paid marketing to promote this podcast. It only grows if you find value in this and share it. Keep following as we show insurance business owners how to go from unknown to unstoppable. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.